Good afternoon, everybody. It is 2:31 p.m. We will begin with our scheduled meeting. I'll call the meeting to order, and this will probably be a fairly quick discussion, a fairly quick meeting today. And the first thing I'd like to do is talk about our proposed work plan that we've been working on as staff and as a team. Welcome, let's see, Sara, Omar, Guillermo, Roberto, thanks for joining us. And Red Webb County area MPO staff.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Let me give everyone just a very brief context of what the work plan is. The Federal Highway Administration requires that MPOs have a work plan. It can be a 1 year, a 2 year, it can be a multi-year plan that says what we're going to accomplish with the planning grant funds that we receive. Now, these are the funds not for construction or design. These are the funds specifically for our staff or for consultants in order to do planning work. And typically in the past, we've done 1 year work plans that we submit that show what we're going to, the staff that we have and the consulting projects we're going to be working on. We are looking towards a more strategic, longer term work plan that shows projects over the next several years that we're going to need to accomplish. And as you know, my big push has been to spend less money on consultants and more money on building expertise here in the MPO so that we can serve the county and the city better. So let me show you what we've been working on. So the nice thing about this is that this work plan is done in a Google Sheets, which is in the cloud. So multiple staff can be working on it at the same time. And also, we can share this with the public quite easily, which we plan to do. Now, the individual project pages, which I'll show you in a second, these project pages it's intended just to be for staff only. But this overview page will be something we'll share on our website. We'll have a link to our website so that staff from the city and county, elected officials, the general public can view this and say, okay, where are we at on our timeline of projects? So what we did is we gave each project a title. Each project or plan we're working on.
You're not sharing the content. It's not showing up on the screen.
No, it's not. Okay. And how about now? Thank you, Juan.
Yeah, now it is.
Should have read your eyebrows. I saw them. I saw your spidey senses going off. Something was wrong. Something was wrong. Okay, well then let me just back up. Today's agenda, we're going to review our MPO work plan. We're going to talk about the upcoming MPO policy committee and the draft agenda and discussing the old new business. So right now we're looking at our work plan that we've been putting together. And instead of just a 1 year work plan, we're going to have a multi-year strategic work plan. Each project or plan that we're going to be working on has a title and a project number associated with the page and more details. We have a project lead, someone who's kind of responsible to make sure all the tasks are by the different people working on it are getting done. For some of these projects, we have a partner. For instance, on the Transit Comprehensive Operational Analysis, our partner on that is Transit. And they're the main, they're working on that project with their consultants, and we're assisting with it and paying for it as the MPO. And so what we're looking at is divided up on the fiscal years. The colors of the years are, you can see at the top, what was divided up into fiscal years. So we're looking at the next 5 fiscal years. The yellow are the quarters that we anticipate the project, the amount of time it will take. And we have the plans that we expect to work on. Some of them will be repeating, such as the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, the MTP, the Transportation Improvement Program, the TIP, the Public Participation Plan, which we're going to be working on soon, but we'll expect to be updated every several years or as needed. And the future TIPs, future MTPs. So on just a few of these projects, the reason I wanted to show you all this is just to let you know what we're working on for longer term. We won't go into too much detail now because we'll go into more detail when we present this to the policy committee and get their input. The main reason I wanted to show this to y'all is to say, are there plans and projects from the county or city's perspective, an area of transportation study, that an area of question for transportation in the region that you've thought, it would really be good if somebody could study this. It'd be really good if we could look at this. That's something we would like to consider, take your input, think about it, and maybe add this to a project list, something we can look at in the future. Now, some projects that we have two types of projects overall. We have those projects, we have those plans that need to be completed in order for us to be compliant with federal and state requirements. That's one category of plans that are on here. The other category of plans and projects are plans and projects that we think would be a good idea, or some agency has thought would be a good idea locally, and so we've scheduled it in. So a few example of the first category, the ones that we're required to do, the MTP, the TIP, the PPP, the Public Participation Plan, the CMP, Congestion Management Process. Now, a few of the examples of things we're going to be working on that we're not required to do, but we think would be very helpful. We recently completed the Active Transportation Plan. We're going to be working on a freight and logistics infrastructure plan in the near future, a sidewalk gap analysis, a downtown traffic and parking study, and those are just a few examples. So I'll open it up to any comments or thoughts. Are there areas, are there projects out there or something that we could study or plan that you thought, it'd be good if we could look at this at some point in the future? Any thoughts? And transportation related.
Hey, Kirby, it's funny that you mentioned the sidewalk gap study. I saw an elderly lady this morning fall as she was walking across Clark Boulevard where the bridge is, in the area where the Clark's Crossing or the Haynes Rec Center is. And she was an elderly lady, and I had noticed that she was kind of dragging her feet when she was on the sidewalk. And sure enough, as soon as she went onto the unsidewalked section, which would be west of the bridge on Clark, she fell. Traffic was at a circumstance that I was in a county truck, I couldn't turn around. But it's interesting that you mentioned that sidewalk gap study, because we have several gaps nonetheless.
Yeah, and our anticipation with that plan is to develop a framework and a strategic approach to how we're making improvements to sidewalks. Right now, it's pretty sporadic. It's relatively unplanned. It's when council members get some money and or partner with the county and say, oh, let's do it here. Well, why here? Well, because I think it should be here, or because this person's asking for it, or these group of people are asking for it. But is that really the best utilization of funds, limited funds, for our pedestrians in the city? Most likely not. And ultimately, at the end of the day, how we spend money is always a political decision. But at least the framework is there. The study has been done to show this is where we can get the best bang for our buck in terms of spending dollars for pedestrians. This is where the most usage is. This is where the need is. This is where it makes sense. So that's going to be a that's an example of a good study we're going to be completing. No one's requiring us to do that. The feds or the state is not requiring us to do that, but it's something the MPO can serve the county and community by planning and studying that transportation question for the region. And there are a few others like that here. So it's okay if you didn't come prepared to, add anything to this list, because this is a list we'll be continually updating and talking about and putting on our future horizon projects and plans we want to study and work on. Again, this is not infrastructure we're going to build. These are plans and studies that we're budgeting for both our time and resources if needed. Okay, so I won't say too much more about that. I will, kind of related to that, there's a couple of studies we're working on now where we are going to be doing some training for the transportation modeling for the region. And what we've decided to do is we're going to limit that to just our staff. I know a few of y'all were interested in participating in that training. We're going to limit it to our staff. However, we're going to record these videos, these trainings. In the past, as part of the MTP and other planning projects, there's a model that's created for how future growth and future transportation will occur in the city. And that's been done by consultants in the past. We're taking that over. We're going to do that process in-house. So we've got the consultant who did it last time to actually train our staff to take it over. We're going to record those videos, make them available, and if in the future you want to learn how this is done, but the reason I want to do that is because we're going to go through all the training. It's going to be, how many hours? Jason or Gracie, do you remember? Is it like 8 hours of training?
10 hours.
10. It's 10 hours of training. So I don't want you all to have to sit through 10 hours of training to pick out the nuggets that are going to be valuable to you. What I want to do is we're going to do all that training here, and we're going to record it all. And then we might think, oh man, this second one was really good in terms of us understanding how the data fits together and where we need some input from, say, the school district, where Carlos could really help us on where there's, where we could get data from the school district on how that impacts transportation in the morning, something like that. So let's show him just this part so he can understand the data that we're looking for and how it plugs into our system. That way you don't have to sit through 10 hours. So also that allows us to have a little more intimate discussion with the person training where we can do some Q&A. We don't worry about the meeting getting too big. Okay, so moving on, let me open up unless anybody has any questions or comments on our work plan for the future. Okay, hearing none, we'll keep moving. And let me show you our draft agenda for the next policy committee meeting, which is going to take place next Monday at 1:30 p.m. Right now, we've got a pretty short agenda. We are planning, the typical items that are on there, the approval of minutes, the review of Hachar Ruthinger, a status report by the RMA, and then, just like we talked about, I'll have a little more formal presentation on the work plan that we're putting together as part of a strategic move for how we're going to study things out in the future. Is anybody aware of any items we need to add to the agenda of the policy committee this coming Monday? Okay, good. Well,
Kirby, not from our end. Unless Omar, do you remember any changes? I don't think we have anything in the right.
if something does come up, let us know. We'll be posting the agenda by Friday.
Sure.
Angie,
I don't think we have anything.
Friday at noon? About that? Okay. Alrighty. Does anyone have any old or new business for the technical committee? Maybe just a little report. Juan, could you give us a report on how the first active transportation subcommittee went?
Yeah, sure thing. We held our
It's
first,
not a subcommittee, it's an active transportation committee of the MPO.
yes. So we held our first active transportation committee on the 24th of February. We had several people attend that meeting, including city department directors and lots of different stakeholders. Pretty much we went over the role of the committee, discussed some more of the working groups. We provided an update at that meeting about the plan, the active transportation plan being adopted by city council on February 22nd. We talked about the next steps, about how to prioritize some of those projects and start getting them on the budget workshops that are coming up later in the year. We also got some cool updates on the Santa Maria bike lane. Some of you might have seen that bike lane. There's been a concrete buffer that's been installed, and that's still a work in progress. And we also heard about a project that's going to start along the Rio Vega right by the river. This will be a trail for bicycle and pedestrians. So I think it was a pretty good meeting. Our next meeting will be on the last Wednesday of the month, which is 31st of March. We're going to be holding these meetings every last Wednesday of the month. And basically it's just, to bring everybody together, look at our active transportation plan, monitor its implementation, and, promote active transportation in our community. Also get ideas from, different people, different stakeholders on how we can fund some of these projects.
Thank you, Juan. If anyone is interested in attending, it's open. The attendance is open, and if you want to be part of the Active Transportation Committee, that is also open. You just need to speak with Juan, who is the committee chair for that committee. We'll make sure to add you to the list.
Yeah.
Thank you, Juan.
I'm putting my email in the chat box if you all want to email me, and I'll make sure to add you to our mailing list.
Thank you very much. Okay, Sada, did you have something you wanted to add? Sada, you're muted.
Oh, yeah. Hi. No, I was just going to mention that APL report, the annual project listing that was submitted to you all. But it's really not a technical thing. I just wanted to make sure you all had received it and we're going to submit it. It's something like the APA report. It used to
Estaba
be,
llamando de tocante.
the same. I guess it was due at the end of the December, but since now TPP is preparing it, Peggy had been working on it and we all kind of were assisting. So I just wanted to kind of remind you all that that was kind of due to me, and then I would forward it to FHWA.
Okay, thank you. And let us know if you need anything on that. Please work with Gracie. She'll get you what you need.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you, Sada, and thank you everyone else for attending today. This just a little reminder as well. We've updated your website, our website for the MPO. If you're not aware, if you go to the MPO, if you ever need an agenda or meeting minutes, go to the MPO's website, go to meetings, go to agenda in minutes, click on that link, and it will take you to the agenda for whatever that meeting was, when it was. If there was a packet associated with that meeting, we'll make sure we get the minutes posted. That's a new column we added, and one, let's not forget to add that in. And then we'll also add a video when we have it. And for instance, this meeting is being recorded, and so we'll place that meeting link here so you can watch it in the future. We also have a YouTube channel that we recently added for the MPO where we'll be placing these videos and other videos, content that we create. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday at the Policy Committee meeting. Thank you,
Kirby.
everybody.
Kirby, this is Omar. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
you can hear.
Yes. Tito just wanted me to let you know that he's gonna contact you tomorrow. It's just regarding some language of the resolution that was voted on the last MPO meeting. So he just wanted me to let you know that he'll contact you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Very much, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
Okay, sweet.